Football Matters, with myself, Murray, and a good friend Lorenzo. This week we are going to review the weekend's games, and we'll also obviously discuss the big talking point of Russell Martin's sacking and possible replacement, and we'll have a wee chat about the upcoming two Scotland games. So it's a massive week for Scotland, playing on, I think it's Thursday and Sunday, so absolutely massive games against Greece and Belarus. But how are you doing? You all good?
Yeah, I'm all good. It
Better
was a
than me.
bit
So I'm a lot more joyous today than I was yesterday.
well, I bet you a whirlwind game yesterday. Topsy turvy, and but we got the win in the end, so mightily relieved to get the 3 points.
Yeah, so we'll probably start with Saturday games. Kilmarnock beating St Mirren. I actually predicted that. I just felt that they would take something
Hmm.
from the previous week where they got their first win.
Yeah.
Um, and I think fair play to them. They seem to deserve it. St Mirren, they caught St Mirren. The first goal was such a high line. It shouldn't
Mm.
be getting caught that high, but they took the goals well. Watson getting a rebound, and I think it was the boy Daka with a good header. But
Aye.
I think I couldn't really argue with that one. I think St Mirren are going it. St Mirren are a good team. They're a top six team, but they're not. They're going
Hmm.
to lose games. You know what I mean? They're not
Oh, they will. They will.
going to
Yeah.
win title races or anything like that. But like they're just that sort of team that But they never seem to lose for long. Like they might lose a couple of games and then they'll be back to winning again. They're just a
Aye.
bit of both. But I thought the next one was a bit of a shock. Dundee United won, Livingston won, but then
I
it's
was
not
expecting
affected
Dundee
me.
United to win that.
Same here, but from what I've seen for Livingston this year, they're just a tough team to beat. They really are.
Hmm.
And I know you beat them 3-0, but apart from that, they've not really been beaten
Yeah.
by a couple of goals. Do you know what I mean? So I think, and what
Yeah.
they do, they play good football. Livingston, like,
Hmm.
I mean, it's not the Livingston of old, and
Ah, they're all right.
I thought they fully merited a point. I mean, the first goal was a defensive mistake, and then Pittman takes advantage, and then he equalises a bit of a glass sort of finish, but they all count. But no, I thought from what I've seen of it, that Livingston merited their point.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
fair play to them.
Can't argue with that. Can't argue with that. Dundee United should have been better, but they weren't. So
Yeah,
didn't deserve
Hibs,
to win the game.
Hearts Hibs, I thought was a bit drab, but Hearts, being where Hearts are right now, they're just finding ways to win games that maybe if they weren't on the back of wins and confidence, they wouldn't find
Hmm.
a way to win, if you know what I mean. Like,
I was hoping Hibs were going to win that one, but I'd have taken a draw and then they get the goal in the last minute, so it was a gutter.
it's a Derek McInnes type performance in it. They weren't great, but they found a way.
Hmm.
And,
Yeah.
the amount of goals they get for defenders is
I know.
unreal.
I
Um,
know. It's crazy.
but if we move on to the Sunday, Aberdeen got a much needed win against Dundee, and I don't think it takes the pressure off Keelan,
Hmm. I
but
think I
I think
predicted an
it
Aberdeen
gives
win, but
them.
I never predicted a 4-0 win.
No, I think I said 1-0, I think, but I thought they would win, and I felt that it gives them the international break to maybe sort out some stuff, and then you know, but I still feel he's a defeat or two away from his daughters.
Oh yes,
Unless
yes.
he goes on a run where he gets 3 or 4 wins and then
Well,
the
that could be the
pressure goes
start of it.
off.
That could be the
But
start of it.
it could be. But I just fear with some of these European games they've got coming up, where I think they've got teams like Strasbourg, Sparta Prague, AK Athens.
Yeah.
Um, so we've got another tough one maybe in there, but even those three, right? You're like
All tough games. All tough
Rangers,
games.
I think AK Larnaca and obviously Noah, but they're not Noah. I don't know, like something like that. But they've got games where they can win games, and then they've got um, just a lot. I just fear that if they get a few heavy defeats in Euro in the Conference League,
Hmm.
if they don't back them up well and they lose a few more, I don't see. Put it this way, I don't see Jimmy Keelan being in charge
Do you
for the
do you
duration of this season.
do you think they'll pick up a point? Any points at all in the Europa Conference?
Yes, I think they'll pick up 3 or 4.
Right.
Um,
Won't be enough. They won't get through
no,
though. No.
no, it was a tough group of games. In fairness, I mean, some of the other draws that teams got, you were like, Jesus, Aberdeen could have done a bit of that work, but
Mm. Aye.
um, We move on to obviously Celtic. Do Celtic first because Rangers will lead into the Martin topic.
Right?
Celtic Motherwell. I thought this is my honest opinion of it. I thought Celtic started quite well. Obviously got the penalty, which was a penalty.
Yeah,
I
was a
think the
penalty.
guy's
Yeah.
unlucky. I think he's unlucky in the sense that he doesn't mean to put his arm out there, but when it hits an arm and it's away from your body in the box,
Mm-hmm.
it's a
Yeah.
penalty. I don't
Yeah.
think it's. I would love to see a world where we did go back to a deliberate handball.
Oh,
At the end of the day,
definitely.
all he's trying to do is block a shot. He hasn't tried to make himself bigger to like stop it going in the net or anything like that. All he's done
Mm-hmm.
is try to block a shot. But it is a penalty
Aye, because if
by
he
the
doesn't block
rules.
that, who knows? If he doesn't block
Who
that,
knows,
if
guys?
he's
But
not,
I
if
think when
he's
you
no
get
stoning
one,
there, it could be a goal. If he's no stoning there, it could have went into
I
the
don't
net.
think he
So
got a good strike on the ground. I don't think he's going anywhere, but you never know. Could take
no,
deflection.
you never
But at the
know.
end of the day, it's a penalty. Ian actually stepped up well, took it. Then I
Mm-hmm.
felt Celtic for about 5 minutes were good, and then I felt they just, I don't know, they went in their shell. So 35 minutes, I thought Motherwell started to dominate. Well, not dominate, but they started to use the ball a
No, they had a
lot better.
spell in the game. They had a
Uh,
spell in the game where they were quite
and
good.
then they got the goal, which was a nice wee goal. Good
Mm-hmm.
ball in there, to be fair. The
Mm-hmm.
ball in was great. And
Diving header.
yep, well, there's a diving header later as well. But
Two
but yeah,
similar goals.
the good equaliser, and then I felt they came out for the second half and were on top. Celtic
Yeah.
didn't really come out in the second half. I didn't think. And
No
then
right
they got
away
their
anyway.
penalty.
No,
They
no
got
right
their
away.
penalty, which was soft, but when you stand on somebody's foot and VAR go in with a microscopic view
Yeah,
and
but see
go,
when you see it, see when I watched it at first, when I watched the
mm,
highlights back, it didn't look as if he touches him, but then when you
yeah,
slow it
but
down,
then
you can see it.
for a minute, when we go with a microscopic view and you look at these things, you go,
Mm.
oh, he stood on his big toe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Aye.
well. But at the end of the day, again, you'd want it at the other end. It's a penalty because he doesn't make any contact with the ball and he does stand on his foot. Boy
Yeah.
steps up, goes his goal well. I don't think it's the greatest of penalties actually. I think Michael could probably do a bit better,
He
but
should have done
he hits
better.
it, he hits it hard enough that it goes past him. Then
Mm-hmm.
I think Motherwell did what Celtic did. They went in their shell at 2-1 and
I noticed something as well at the game that they were
got
actually.
playing.
That's the reason. This was the reason for the 7 minutes added at the end, Murray. They were starting to. A lot of players were starting to go down, even though there was
Yeah,
nobody near them.
things like
You know,
that and
all
get
that kind of
tired and
nonsense. All that kind of
you try to
nonsense.
hold on, but obviously Motherwell, they probably, and I'm going to include Celtic in this, Motherwell play the best football in the league,
They do.
including
Aye.
Celtic, including Rangers.
Oh,
And
they
when
play
you
well.
play that lovely football out from the back, sometimes you bugger it up.
It
That's
doesn't work.
exactly what they did.
Yeah,
They passed
for the
it straight to
Celtic
Rangers,
equaliser.
yeah, and it's a goal. And I don't think Celtic deserved it at that point. I'll be honest
Well,
with you, at that point, I
it's
don't
the
think
miss
Celtic.
the chance that Negrin had just before
Negri
that.
missed
He
it. He
should have
missed
scored.
one just
He
before it.
should have scored.
Yeah, but I don't think Celtic really deserved it at that point. But then after that goal, the momentum of the crowd and when you're two each and you're coming back from behind, you knew Celtic were going to find a way, and they did. And
When we
to
got
be
the
fair,
7 minutes at the
they
end,
took
everybody was going, kind of G'd up for it, you know.
a good wee ball in and a good header at quite a difficult height, actually, to be fair to
He
Maida.
was practically on the ground when he headed it, aye, near enough.
Yeah, and I don't think Celtic deserved the win in terms of balance of play. I thought it was an even game, but you can't begrudge it when when you find. I mean, you could argue that with when Celtic won against Kelly, you might
Aye.
not really deserve that, but you get it because
But
you keep going, and
you get the luck. You get the luck.
there's a big difference between.
To be honest, we're due a bit of luck.
But no, but not there. He's got enough work to do. But
No, no, no.
I always felt that Celtic would find a way to win, whereas watching the Rangers game at the same point, I never felt that they would. As soon as Falkirk scored, I never thought the Rangers were going to win it. I felt we were going to win last week against Livingston, just because you could tell sometimes in games when you're pushing a team back. But if anything, I thought Falkirk were going to win the game yesterday after the goal. But if we go to Rangers, it was a typical Rangers under Russell Martin performance. Awful. Lovely goal actually from Rangers.
It was a good goal. But as I say, I've watched a few Rangers games this season, and I didn't see any style of football for
Yeah,
Russell Martin at all in any of the games. Even I'm including the Celtic game and that. He obviously
well,
changed his style in the
yeah,
Celtic game,
it was.
but that didn't
There's
work
been,
either.
there's been no games where I've seen a consistent style where I could go,
Mhm.
okay, that's what he's trying to do. Whereas,
And I
but
don't
I'll
think he
say,
knew. I don't think he knew his first choice best 11 either.
I don't think, I put it this way, I don't think the players played to him. So I will give him a credit on that one because I think the
Some you
players
don't know,
down
but
to
some of the players might not be good enough. Even another manager, some of the players that he has signed might not be good enough to play for Rangers.
I
You don't know that.
guarantee you see an upturn in every one of those players just
All right,
because
we'll
players,
see what happens.
players get, put it, players
But
get
even
paid.
even Chermiti,
Aye, of course, he won't be worth what he's signed him for, but he'll score goals. He will eventually break his duck, and then he might go on a wee run. And he's a decent enough footballer. He's not worth that money. But you know what I would say though on the game actually yesterday though, Rangers were awful for 40 minutes, and then we actually we actually beat the press quite well. Rothwell for the first time in the game drove forward into an area where there was a gap.
mm,
The gaps were there, but we just didn't try.
yeah,
And then he puts it to, I think it's Gassama who gives it into Cornelius. And Cornelius does the smartest thing you can do in that position. So many players try to just blast it across. All he did was pass it. He just passed it into an area
simplest
and hope,
simplest thing to do.
uh, hope that the striker would get there. And if you give him a chance, he'll get goals. I mean, I
Mm.
don't think anyone's telling me he's a
Well,
bad
he's a
finisher
good
or a bad
striker. He
striker.
was good at Aberdeen. He was good at
But
Aberdeen.
I think we've created the grand total of two chances for him, and he scored two goals.
Well, there you go.
Well, three actually, missed a sitter against Livingston.
Mm.
But
I mean, obviously the Falkirk equaliser was
it's a
a
great
lovely goal.
finish.
Aye.
But I mean, a bit like the Celtic one against Braga, why the hell is there a player 30 yards to goal with about 15 yards of room? You know, like no one closing them down.
I
No,
know.
and that's when you know that a team isn't trying for
Aye.
the manager because you know fine well that like, if we fast forward right to at some point in the next month or two, Rangers have a new manager and they're winning 1-0 in a game. I guarantee you those players are running through a brick wall to try and make blocks and tackles, and they just weren't. They wanted the manager gone, and they got their wish. At the end of the day, Rangers fans got their wish. Everyone got their wish. I don't like how it all ended. I don't. I
Well,
don't like
that's what I was going to ask you.
buses
I mean,
and barricades.
I didn't like the look at it. What
It
happened after
wasn't
the game with
violent
the
at any point. I know Talksport were saying it was violent mob shit. It
all the
wasn't.
wee boys on and the hoods and
It
all that
wasn't.
chasing
It
the
was.
bus and
It was basically saying that bus is going nowhere until he goes anywhere, and that isn't right either. But it wasn't violent. It was another form of protest. I don't
aye.
like it though. I
But
don't like it.
I don't like the fact that the manager didn't get to go on the bus with his players. He had to go in a motor and get away in a different mode of transport. But it shouldn't have
I think
happened.
that was a Rangers club decision rather than a safety decision.
I know that,
But it
but
might have been a,
it shouldn't have happened though. He should have been allowed
no.
to get on that bus.
But at the end of the day, I don't think the players wanted them on that
But you've got
bus.
other folk looking at that for further afield,
Yeah,
like
there could be a manager who's interested in the
worldwide, and
job and looks,
they're looking at it, going, "Who wants to go there?" You know,
but at the
that's
same
how they
time,
act.
though, I think I mean don't think the fans gave him a fair crack of the whip. I'll be honest,
They
right?
didn't. No, they didn't. They didn't
But
want him in for the off for he got the
but
job.
but at the same time, he wasn't good enough. Both things can be right. You know what I mean?
But it's
He
because
could,
it was all down to the fact that he was a vegan, he was a Buddhist,
for me, it was nothing to do with that.
he didn't wear a suit and brogues, he didn't have the right haircut, he supported the Green Party. I mean, what the fuck?
For me, my biggest problem was always, and I said this to you during the summer when we were talking with Bob's, and that, I was like, his style of football just won't work. I
Aye,
didn't. He advertised it as Ansball, but I knew it wasn't that because I'd watched bits of Southampton and Swansea, and I knew it wasn't that. It was never fast paced. It was always pass it to the open player and you'll find space.
yeah,
But that doesn't work in Scotland. That's not a rule in Scotland because there's always an
no,
open player in Scotland because teams will sit there and it's
that's
like
right.
breaking
The low
down.
block, you've got to break down the
Yeah,
low block.
and he couldn't do that. He was never going to be able to
But
do
it's
that.
that to me, that's boring. No, see a low block, I hate that
No, but
because
you still need
that's
to
a
find
team that
ways.
at least Motherwell came out and had a go. You know, at least
No,
Motherwell
I know,
tried.
but at the same time, Rangers haven't been able to beat anything. We haven't been able to beat a low block. We haven't been able to beat Motherwell playing good football against us. They
I
haven't
don't,
been
I
able to
don't,
beat good
I don't
teams
think
in Europe.
Hearts had played a low block. They obviously came in Vegas, so I don't think they played a low block.
They did after the basketball goal.
Right, fair
They
enough.
really did. They did
At least
sit
they
in.
scored a goal first. At least they scored a
They
goal
did.
first before they done it.
They scored their goal and then they sat in. And
Mm.
then in sitting in, eventually they sort of countered later on and got a penalty, which wasn't a penalty either. But I don't. But I didn't feel Hibs at any point sat in. But that's the only game where he got any. But I just think it was about they missed chances and we scored at the right time that day. It wasn't
Just
great
unlucky, I
football.
know that it's just unlucky as well that Martin Boyle. So speaking of that game, Martin Boyle was offside because of Lynch's, and that was a goal. You know, he's done
Mm.
really well.
But the problem I think is with Russell Martin is his style was never going to work, and it was never. But I do feel that the Rangers board they're pissed about this too long. Like for me, a lot of fans gave up after Bruges on
What
the
do you mean?
night
You mean
after
do you think the league? Do you think the league's unsalvageable now? Do you think that?
the. I'm not even sure it's salvageable to catch Hearts right now because Hearts are always ahead of Celtic and
That's right.
hell, I mean we're 11 points behind Hearts and
We're
9
nine,
behind Celtic.
nine. That's
Only
right.
now. I think we're only 2 behind Sub. I
You
mean,
should. I mean, by all accounts, you shouldn't be able to come
like,
back for that
Right.
gap.
So
Really.
realistically, third is guaranteed, right? I really believe that. I think Rangers will catch up those 2 points pretty quickly, right? And they'll probably pull a gap away from the teams, right? Because they're
Probably
always
because that
in
always
competition.
happens.
Right.
Because the rest
Uh,
will fall away.
Hearts will Hearts will fall away a bit, and Celtic will drop points. But so will
Aye.
Rangers. That's the problem. You can't
So will
realistically
Rangers,
tell
and
me
Rangers
that
have
the
already
Rangers
dropped
are going to go.
too many points.
Aye, Rangers aren't going to go on a 20 match 1-1, are they? That's the
No.
only way they'd get back into a title. But I don't think it's about a title this season, and I never did actually under Russell Martin. For me, at the start of the season, and I said this to you, it was about winning trophies, so possibly a couple of cups, getting a style of play that you know works, beating
Hmm.
Celtic at least a couple of times, so that they know going into next season that they have to keep their levels up and finding a way to beat the other teams on a consistent basis.
Yep.
Now, it was never about, oh, it has to be the league or nothing. I mean, these guys have come in with their investment. I don't think they expected instant success, but they
No.
did expect better than eighth in the league and
Better than what they've got at the
what
minute.
they've got. So now this is the big test for them because if you look at the options, right, if they go down the Deitch route, right, and it fails, this is all going to come back on Fairwell and go, you've just picked a guy that you know. This is all the Everton mates, jobs for boys, all that
Hmm.
nonsense. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, not nonsense actually, because that's true. But that phrase, I mean, if
Yeah.
you go with Gerard, it's a risk because you don't
But
always
what if he comes back? What if he comes back and then basically he ends
doesn't
up
work.
getting the sack? What
Yeah,
if he gets the sack and doesn't do as well as he did the last time? Then
that's that's a
he's
risk.
tarnished. He's tarnishing his wee legacy there.
Yeah. For me, the choice is pretty clear. If it was up to me, I'd be going for Kevin Muscat. Um, we need someone who has a history of winning trophies. I don't care what level they're at. I'm not disparaging enough to say that the Chinese league, the Japanese league, and the Australian league are easy to win. Because, by the way, is the Scottish league no easy to win, technically? If
Should be. There's
you're
only
really
two teams
honest,
can win it.
it's,
Well, there's only really two teams can compete in it.
and Hearts are competing this year, but we don't know how long they're competing for. I mean, we're still
No.
only 8 games in. People
Aye,
forget
because
about that.
they could do an Aberdeen. They could do what Aberdeen did
Yeah.
and fall off a cliff. You never know.
And what I would say is that Kevin Muscat has experience of winning trophies. Now, I know some Rangers fans might go, "Oh, we're just trying to copy Celtic and the Ange route." Shut up. That's just nonsense. At the end of the day, Ange worked
Well,
for them.
there is similarities there though. The
Doesn't
fact that
matter though.
he's worked in
But,
Japan. I get why they say that.
but Kevin Muscat as a manager, as a player who played most of his career in England, a season in
Hmm.
Scotland at Rangers, and I did finish his career over in Australia. I was an Australia player, but
Hmm.
I don't I don't look at it as being a over copying a guy. I mean, yes, I can understand that he took 2 jobs after Ange left. I do understand that there is always going to be a link because he's managed two teams that Postecoglou did. But
Yeah, yeah.
to me, this is about looking out there and going, who's a young manager who's winning, who's on their way up in the game and not on their way down. And I think Rangers too often target the guy who's on their way down in the try to
Russell,
use.
I think Russell might will struggle to get another job. I do.
Apparently, he's getting like we're looting already, but I pray for the Luton fans.
Well, that's maybe his level though. Luton, I mean, the lower
Well,
leagues in
League
England.
One, so probably. But obviously, the other name is, although I don't know if it's more of a short term thing, but Barry Ferguson's name won't go away. I've never felt Ferguson on his own would be good enough, but if he could get an experienced assistant manager, maybe he could be.
But
Because
some no Neil McCann then obviously.
no, but I don't mind them coming along. Like, do you know what I mean? But somebody who, it's hard to say, but like obviously when
Davy
Walter
Weir.
Smith, no, he was useless when he was Wobbling, wasn't he? But like I'm just thinking, like, do you remember when Walter Smith took over in the 90s and he got Archie Knox? That was just an experienced head, somebody
Mm-hmm.
who just knows the
Well,
game.
who would you want as his assistant then? Who would you think would be the most
I
experienced to
don't
take it?
necessarily think they need to be Scottish because I think Barry brings that sort of local knowledge, Rangers
Well,
knowledge. But
well, who did he play? Who did he play with at Rangers that played for Rangers? A foreigner, then that could be an assistant that's got experience that you know.
I don't know. I mean, but I just look at like the
And
likes
have
of
any of the
Van
De
Bronckhorst.
Boers been assistants? No.
Well, no, I know Frank was a manager, but he's terrible at times, wasn't he? But I
Uh-huh.
just look at Van Bronckhorst, right? He's tried management, right, and now he's went to Liverpool as assistant manager. Sometimes, you can have a go on your own. It might work, it might not work,
But
but
I
he's
don't.
still a good coach, and
I
that's
can
what
see.
Arne Slot looked at. He went,
Uh,
"He's a good coach."
See what you mean, though. But he's already been the Rangers manager, so I can't see him going back to Rangers as
No, I'm
assistant
not saying
because
him.
he's been the manager. I
I'm just
know.
saying that some people who have been manager
Hmm.
might still consider being an
I don't.
assistant. But
I don't
then
think
there's the
ever.
question of
I don't think
then
that's
there's the
ever
question.
happened.
No,
I don't
but
think.
then
I
there's
don't
the
think
question of
anybody's.
you know,
Eh?
well, I'm just saying that then there's the question of like, well, Alex Ray tried management, didn't he? And it didn't
Aye.
work, and then
No,
he
he's an
became an
assistant.
assistant. Uh,
Mhm. Aye, but what I'm
but
saying
what
is, he wasn't he wasn't the manager of Rangers and then went back as the assistant. Nobody's done that at any
no,
club. I don't think. I don't think anybody's done that.
no, but Beale tried the other thing, didn't he? So he was assistant and then tried to be manager, and that failed.
Aye, but
Ali
aye.
did that.
I
Obviously,
don't
he was
think it's. I don't
assistant,
think
and
it's ever been done the other way around though, where you've been the manager
no.
and then went back as the assistant.
No, I mean, because I would actually think that Barry Ferguson would be a brilliant assistant
Aye.
under the right manager, but I can't see Barry being able to do that.
No,
What I mean by that is I can't see him being able to take orders.
no, no. He likes to be the manager, so I can't see
No,
him
it's a
being
bit
a
like, could you imagine Neil Lennon being an assistant manager? I bet he'd be
no.
great, but he
He
couldn't
would,
do
but
it.
no, couldn't see
The
it.
other one that's jumped out, and I'll let you know what you think of this, because I don't think it's anything to do with this whole Northern Irish thing. Because, but there was a link to the Northern Ireland manager, Michael O'Neill, bringing Stephen Davis as the assistant. Now that to me, it's difficult, right? Because he's done a brilliant job with Northern Ireland, right? The first time around, he got them to the Euros, and
Aye.
for the first time in donkey.
Think he went to a club after that though, and
Then
he
he went
didn't
to
do too
Stoke
well.
and did
Hmm.
awful.
That's right.
But then again, a lot of managers, even Paul Lambert, did. A lot of managers over a short period of time did awful with Stoke because, quite frankly, they were a poorly run club. I mean, Mark
Tony
Hughes,
Pulis was a good manager.
Lambert.
He done all right
But
well.
after that, after Pulis
Hmm.
left, it went to like Paul Lambert, Mark Hughes. There was obviously Michael O'Neill. It just didn't work.
Hmm.
And Alex Neil, I think, came
Well,
there as well. But
Steve Bruce is on the verge of getting the sack for Blackpool. Why don't you
he's
go for
just
him?
been sacked. No,
Was he all right? Is he?
too
Pick him
annoying.
up for nothing.
Um, but no, so I do think that there's options there, but that one interests me a wee bit. But then I just worry about Michael O'Neill's record at club football. Has never been as good as, and I think it's a different thing being an international manager because international manager is all about just geeing people up and getting the best, and so there's no transfers, there's none of that sort of
Aye,
type. It's just about
when you're international manager, you only play so many games a year as well. It's no, you're
exactly.
no,
So,
it's
but
no like nitty gritty bread and butter stuff.
I think going for a foreign manager could be too risky though after Martin. Like if they go for a Danny Rowe or a Marco Rosa, I think that's too risky. But
Or even the boy for Bodo Glimt, his name won't go away, will it?
well, it won't go away. But at the end of the day, apparently his big issue is he wants something like a percentage of every transfer. So like if he signs a player right and then they sell them, he wants 20% of that or something.
For himself?
Aye.
Oh, all
And I
right.
think he gets that at Bodo Glimt and no one else. That's why he's
I don't
turned
think
down
any other club, don't think any other club
Ajax,
will entertain that.
Tottenham. All these teams have all said, well, no, that
It's a bit
doesn't
like
work
Davy
here.
Martindale. It's a bit like Davy Martindale. Davy Martindale's an alright manager, but no other club's willing to take a chance on him.
Yeah, but I don't know. I honestly don't know. But we'll move on to Scotland because I think we'll find out soon enough who the next Rangers manager is. But if you're asking me to put a fiver down on it right now, I suspect they will go for Gerrard. But I would be going for Mustard. And if
Right.
you weren't a Celtic fan, who would you go for
Eh,
to take off the fact that he wants to fail?
probably Muscat, if I'm honest, because of the whole thing he's done all right in Japan and
He's won leagues.
aye, well
You
that's it.
know,
He's won things and he knows that market. So if you want to sign Japanese players, he's your man.
because I feel that we've just
And the
got
Japanese
too
market
reliant
is good.
on
The
an
Japanese
English
market's
market
good.
where you don't get value for money. I mean, we could have got about 6 players in Japan for the 9 million we spent on, or 8 million we spent on. So we
That's
could,
right. The money that they want for the Japanese players is pennies compared to what they want down in England.
and they might not all work, but at least then it's less risky. If you spend a
No,
million on
no,
somebody
but they
that
didn't
doesn't
all
work,
work. All the ones that
it
came to
doesn't matter.
Celtic didn't all
Yeah,
work. But we got three out of. I mean, what was it? Maeda, Kyogo, and Hatate all were
yeah.
brilliant, and hopefully the other two boys that have came will get a chance at some point and be good.
I don't think Yang's been
He's
a
no
failure.
Japanese.
I know, I'm just saying, it's still the same market though, isn't it? Because
I
they use the
know.
Korean market. I don't
And then,
think
but I thought,
Yang's been
O was rotten, to be honest.
yeah, but he still made money on it.
I know.
So in terms
I,
of a market, it was still one that you signed a player, it didn't work, but you sold him for more money. So,
I,
but if we go on to Scotland, then
yep.
obviously Steve Clarke chose the exact same squad as last time, except Craig Gordon came back in
Surprise, surprise.
despite not playing for about 8 years. He's come back in.
I'm surprised Angus Gunn's not getting in the squad because he's not
Well,
got a
Angus
club.
Gunn, isn't he? Aye, it is.
Was it?
It's Gunn, Gordon, and Kelly.
Well,
He's
Gunn's
got
with
the
Nottingham
others.
Forest and he doesn't even get a game.
I know, but he played the last two Scotland games and he kept clean sheets, didn't we?
All right,
So,
fair enough.
um, I wouldn't be putting Gordon or Kelly in over Gunn. Not after he
No,
got two clean sheets.
no, I
And
don't
not
think so.
after the fact that,
I'd keep
you know,
Gunn in.
I mean, I think did Gunn play the League Cup game? Did he play? I can't remember if he played the game
I
yet
don't
for
know.
Nottingham
I don't
Forest.
know.
But
But I'm not Gunn's biggest fan, to be honest. But
yeah, I quite like him. But I don't think he's a long term thing. I think we should still be looking for a longer term goalie. But I do think he's all right.
he's
But
okay.
what are you thinking then over the two games? I mean,
Well, I'm hoping for
is,
maximum points.
is another four? Is
Best,
4 points acceptable? Is a draw
be-
with Greece and a win to a home to Belarus? Is that acceptable?
I would say best case scenario, two
You want
victories.
six? Aye.
Worst case scenario, uh, a win and a draw,
We
basically.
can't. Aye, we can't lose to Greece because that
Mm.
would mean we would have to go to Athens and win, and you don't really
hmm
want that because
And it's two home
realistically,
games, isn't it? Two home games we've
two
got
home
to
games
now.
are it's
Need
two
to try
home
and
games.
get need to try first and foremost and try and get maximum points for both of them. If you
Because
can't, then try and no get beaten better and at
you
least try
also
and win
need to
one of them.
remember that when we play Belarus,
Mhm.
Greece go to Copenhagen. So if we can beat Greece,
You think
and then
Denmark will beat Greece?
if Denmark beat Greece or even draw with Greece, we're in a great position because Denmark would be dropping points and we'd be top,
hmm
or Greece would be out of it.
It would be great to be top, but I
So
think my best bet's probably second.
not when you've got Denmark at home in your last game. You want to, even if you're setting going into that, you want to
Well,
be within a
hopefully we're still within touching distance
chance
points wise of them.
to beat. If we can go into that last game with Denmark and can draw or win at Hampden to top the group and go there, then I'd take that right now.
Hopefully.
But I mean, how do you see? I mean, I think Che Adams is pretty nailed on to start based on his
Well,
the
he's done
last
well.
one.
He's
Yeah,
done well, so he
I
deserves to
just
keep his place.
feel like his midfield balance is all over the place because sometimes we play on Christie, sometimes it's Ferguson. I don't feel we've really settled our midfield because when Gilmore came in the second game, I thought we looked so much better. But to me, he should be playing every game. Sorry, Gilmore. Even if that
I
means
agree.
even if
He's too
that means
good. He's too
dropping,
good not to play. And I think
even if that
thing,
means
mate,
dropping a McGinner or McTominay, because
Hickey should be playing as well. I think Hickey
yep,
should be getting a chance.
I think Hickey plays right back. I think Robertson left back. I think he's going to continue with Scooter and Hanley
Is Tierney
because
in the squad? I'm trying to remember.
Tierney's in the squad, yeah, but we'll need to
Right.
see if he comes up this time because obviously
Aye,
last
well,
time he pulled out,
I
didn't
know,
he? So,
but he's even at Celtic in the last few games, he's no been 100%. So
but
we'll
I
just need
do
to wait and
think
see on that one.
the fact that these games are both at Hampden as well, I think increases the chances of Tierney playing because there's no travel, there's none of that
That's
crap.
right.
It's just,
That's right.
you know, I increases the chances of getting an hour out of him.
He'll get a run it. He will get a run it.
I probably wouldn't play him against Greece, but I'd play him against Belarus
Belarus.
because I'd probably drop Hanley for Belarus and go with Tierney at centre back with Suter because I think with Belarus you're going to have a lot of the ball and your fullbacks are going to become wingers and
Does he
yeah,
play him? Does he play Tierney at centre back though? Has he done
he
it
has
before? Has
done.
he done? He has.
He's done it in a back
Not
three.
very, not very often though.
I think he's done it against the weaker nations at
Right. Well,
Hampden. But
Belarus. Then
yeah,
you'd be thinking.
and I think he can maybe come on against Greece if we're trying to hold on to something. You know, you want to take off like Doak and put
Aye.
Tierney on and just go with Tierney and Robertson on the same side and be a wee bit more defensively sound. You can do that too.
Yeah.
But I think the midfield. I imagine. So I think my team anyway for the first game with Greece would be Gunn, Robertson, Hanley, Suter, Hickey, Gilmore, Ferguson, McTominay, then McGinn, Doak, and Adams.
That's actually not a bad team. I mean, that's who he
I would
should
go,
pick. That's who he
yeah,
should pick. But
yeah. And
whether
then
he
I
does,
think
we don't.
obviously you let Ferguson run his pan in for 60 minutes, and then you bring on Christie.
Would you say that's the strongest 11 than the one you've just picked? Would you say that was the strongest 11 at the squad?
I don't know. I don't know that Ferguson's in the strongest 11, but I think he's right for this game. If you know what I mean. I think that midfield balance isn't quite right yet. And it wouldn't even surprise me if you brought in like a Kenny McLean for the tougher game
Kenny McLean's
because
another one. He's
he's
another one that I'm no a big fan of because he's not
no,
he's not great. He's not
I
great.
don't
He's all
mind
right.
him. I don't mind
He's
him
not
coming
great.
out to see out games. Like see the 10
Aye.
minutes to go. I'm
hmm
cool with that. Like I'm happy to take off from McTominay on him again
Aye.
and bring
I
on
wouldn't have
McLean.
him. I wouldn't have him starting a game though.
I don't want him starting games. I don't want him coming on when we need a goal. I want him to
Aye.
sort
See
of
you
drop.
again. Coming on to see you
No.
again. Yeah.
And then against Belarus, I'd be going a lot more attacking. I'd, I'd even be tempted to go two up at Hampden.
Aye, but well,
And
you know how negative
uh,
he is,
but I'd
Clarke. So do you think
also
he would
be
do that?
and I'd also be playing Dope as well as going two up. I'd be playing two up and
Oh,
I'd
Doc's got to
probably
play against Belarus for me. Definitely, he has to start the game.
yeah, I would probably go in that game I would go Gunn, I would go Robertson, Tierney, Suter, Hickey as a back four. Then I'd go Gilmore and McTominay centre mid, just the two of them. Then I would
hmm
go McGinn right wing, Stoke left wing, and then I would go two up top, which would be Adams
Adams
and
and Dykes.
no, I would probably if it was me, I'd go Bowie, but I'd
Oh,
probably
Bowie.
go Huff. I'd go
I
Huff for this
forgot.
one.
I actually forgot about Bowie. To be honest with
Yeah,
you, I forgot about Kieran Bowie. Aye.
I think he'd go Hurst from the start.
But
Yep,
aye,
switch boy
but
because
then
he scored some
is
goals.
Bowie will be in the squad. But is he going to get a
Yeah,
game? Is he going to come
I
off
don't
the
think he
bench?
will. I don't think he. I mean,
But he
but then
should. He
that
should get
raises the question: Is should Shankland have been in the squad?
because you're never going to know
Because
how good he is unless you give him a chance. Like I'm not saying play him for the start, but bring him on if we're doing all right, and
playing
we've.
against Belarus, I mean, that's
Oh,
where you find out if you can do it.
of course, aye.
But no, I think it would be the two up would be Hurst and Adams, and then we've still got Dykes and Bowie to bring on if you need to.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll predict 4 points. I'm going to be a bit. I think it'll be a one each with Greece and a 3-0 against Belarus.
I'll say I score draw. I'll say two each with Greece, and I'll say a 2-0 win over Belarus.
Yep.
So aye.
But
I,
I would take it. I would, because it takes
mhm.
you into the last two games, and we're going to be in there
I'd
a
like
good
us to
chance.
beat Greece though, because we owe
So
them
would I,
for
because
the last time.
that would mean that we wouldn't need to win in Athens to still have a chance of going through in the last games. We could even lose in Athens and
If
still
we come
have a
through with six
chance.
points, if we come through with 6 points, it'll be great. But
Right.
just can't see it.
But let's be positive. I mean, I think Greece were great in that game in the playoff one, but playoff games are a lot different from group games because
Mhm.
they were 1-0 down and they had to go for it and they caught Scotland, not on an off night but I think we've said this all along. Steve Clarke doesn't know how to set up a team to,
From a winning position,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
He
because we
knows
were
how to
winning for the
do
first leg.
it. He doesn't really know how to get us over the line that kind of way. Whereas in a
Aye.
one-off game, we've seen him beat Spain. We've seen us win big games at Hampden, so it's possible.
Mhm.
So, but
Aye.
I think obviously we're going to meet up. Obviously, we're going to do another one next Monday, where we
Next
can
Monday, yeah.
obviously review both the
No,
Scotland games and then look
mhm.
forward to the next round of Scottish fixtures, and we can obviously talk about whoever it is
Yeah.
that Rangers have in as manager, because I'll
Mhm.
imagine he'll be in by next Monday.
Should be in by then. No Friday pod this week, obviously, yeah. So
And that we'll just push it
yeah.
down till Monday. Cool.
Yeah.
But enjoy the Scotland games, mate. Hope you enjoy them. Wait,
Aye.
so hopefully we enjoy
Hopefully.
6 points.
Aye. Here's hoping. Fingers
Right,
crossed.
cool.
Right.
Right, I'll see you later.
Right. See you later, mate. Cheers.
Right.